Hey guys, Dino here, back for another sort of beer show and tell. So I've got some beer mail and also a beer review to do. So we'll start off with the beer mail. So I've got two lovely beers here that were kindly sent to me by Grant Baker. I mentioned to Grant that this is a remix version of the Yeasty Boys Pot Kettle Black. And I understand from Grant and other people that have tried it that it's a much better and more improved beer on the standard Pot Kettle Black. So I couldn't get hold of it around here, or hadn't seen it, so Grant kindly sent me a bottle, so thank you very much for that, Grant. I'm going to do a separate tasting on that. It's clocking in at a pretty hefty 7.5%. And also, Grant kindly sent me up his SJ Pour 2015 entry. So this is his Ding Dong Stout, clocking in at 7.7, and I believe from memory Grant came fourth in this year for the New Zealand Australia arm of the competition, so well done for that, Grant. That's an awesome achievement. So I'm going to do a separate review for that. So what I might do, guys, I'll just pause the camera and pop these back in the fridge because I want to keep them nice and cold. So I'll be back in a second and we'll do the beer review. Cheers. Okay, I'm back. Speaking of the SJ Pour competition, I didn't actually go into it this year, but I did enter some beers into two different competitions last Saturday. Actually, they're both on the same day. One was the national homebrew competition for New Zealand, so it's the biggest competition of its kind in the country, well over 500 entries. So I entered the Black IPA and also the Cherry Rye Porter, which was getting on a little bit in age. The Black IPA scored reasonably well, but it didn't sort of reach any medal sort of status or levels. You need 30 out of 50 for a bronze. Black IPA came in at 19 points. A little bit disappointed with that, but yeah, I thought it was a really good Black IPA, as good as any that I've tried commercially from the shops, including the Pot Kettle Black, a couple of others. So yeah, a little bit perplexed with that. The Cherry Rye Porter, I was in two minds as to whether to enter that because it was getting on a bit, and yeah, that only scored a 16, so yeah, quite disappointed with that. But on the bright side, I entered two beers, the ESP Extra Special Pale Ale and the Black IPA, again into a local homebrew competition in Auckland, and actually came third for the ESP, so very chuffed with that. And a couple of other guys, Sean Gerard, he won, and actually a couple of his other beers came second, and also Luke Watkins, one of his beers came second. So yeah, so that was a really good achievement, and yeah, very happy with that, and that sort of took the edge off the disappointment for the sober homebrew competition. But anyway, I digress. Let's crack on with the beer review here. So this is the final beer of the 5 beers that were kindly sent to me by Les from Lez'sBrew, aka Two Hands Brewing. So this is Gentleman's Double Barrel, a wee heavy, aged on Jack Daniel's oak infused with Gentleman's Jack Daniel's, 9% ABV. So this sounds good. This one's a few months old, so hopefully it's had a good chance to sort of age and sort of mellow out. Crack her open. No hiss it off at all there, Les, but no worries. So I'm going to pour it into this Leffy glass. It's like a chalice. It's probably not the right glass for this beer, but oh well. So there we go. Just about got the whole lot in here. So this, I think this was bottled off the keg, which is probably explains there wasn't much hiss, or actually didn't get any hiss off the top. But it has actually formed a bit of a head on the top. So it's not sure if it's showing up on the camera, but it's got some. It's quite dark, and then down the bottom it's got some nice sort of ruby red mahogany sort of hues coming through. Actually, if I look lower up through the glass, there's some really nice, almost slightly red IPA-ish coming through, but more ruby red mahogany. So fantastic looking beer. Like I say, it's formed a little bit of a head, but for that style, and at 9%, I don't think you'd be expecting a big head. So let's dive in, guys. Cheers, Les. Thank you for this. I've really enjoyed drinking all your beers. Sorry it's taken about a month to get through them all. That smells nice. Definitely picking up that Jack Daniels and sort of hints of the oak as well. And some nice little bit of sweetness as well on the aroma. That smells really good. Just from the aroma, I'm sensing this is going to be a really nice flavour packed beer. So cheers, guys. Ooh, that is nice. It's got a real nice full body sort of richness to the flavour. Once again, getting the Jack Daniels, it's there, but it's not over the top. It's nicely balanced, because I think if you had too much Jack Daniels in there, or you might lose some of the malts in there. But some real nice hits of that Jack Daniels and the oak. The flavour follows on really nicely from the aroma. So I'm getting some really interesting sort of toffee sort of sweetness coming through as well. Apologies for that wind. I hope it's not affecting the sound. It's really nice. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever had a wee heavy, so I guess it's a wee heavy, sort of like a Scotch ale. So I'm not really sure what the style should be like, but I'm really enjoying that. Getting some like some dark fruit as well coming through. Definitely a complex beer. There's lots of different layers of flavour there. The Jack Daniels, the oak, the toffee sweetness, the dark fruits, sort of dark fruit. A little bit plummy, maybe. Plummy. Maybe a little raisin going on there. Bitterness is good. It seems like it's quite up in the sort of higher levels, sort of 50-ish, maybe a bit more. I don't know. You have to fill me in, Les. Tell me where I'm going wrong with the description. I'm not sure what the hops are. If you've told me, I apologise, I can't remember, but that is a really, really cracking beer. This is really nice. Of the 5 beers, this is probably the most, I'd say probably the most complex. Probably one of the most flavour-packed beers, but it's also smooth as well. It's really, I'm sort of tempted. It's quite hot outside. Sorry about the noise. I'm quite tempted to sort of knock it back a bit quicker, but then I'm reminded that it's 9%. So yeah, it's something to sort of savour. Yeah, it's got a real nice aroma on the top. Wow, that's a cracking beer, Les. Now I'm going to sit on this because I don't want to just gulp it down. I think it's something I want to warm up a bit more as well, and I'll probably get a few more flavours out. I gave the Oats for Brekkie an 8.5, but I think this one is probably the pick of the 5. For sure, I think this one is sort of my favourite. So I think we'll easily go with let's go with a solid. I think we're going to go for a 9.25. How's that? It's a solid 3/4 of a point higher than the Oats for Brekkie. That is a really top-notch beer. I hope you still got plenty left and you're going to age it up. Definitely think it's probably changed from when it was fresher. Man, that aroma is amazing. That wood toffee or oak toffee, Jack Daniels, beautiful combination. Okay guys, I've probably waffled on enough, so I'll cut the video short there. So the idea is I've got a few beers to review. I've got Grant's beers, and also I've still got the beer from Frank's Homebrew 77. It's the beer he said not to open until after the beginning of November, so stay tuned for that. I'll be doing reviews on all those beers, and hopefully also brewing up this coming weekend, so yeah, I might do a bit of a video on that as well. Okay guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and here's to the upcoming weekend. Cheers Les for the fantastic selection of beers. I've really enjoyed drinking them all. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.